All right. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? How is it going? I am no one. And today is November 11th, and we got an update last week on Friday about a November testing schedule and live stream update. I am 5 days late to this, but in my defense, I was hunting last weekend and I had to move my office from my office to my kitchen because we have people in working on our ceiling and drywall. And so this is still important to talk about. I am a little bit late to it. I apologize, but we will be back running normally here in the next week. But no, I did not get a deer. If you guys are asking, I will be back at it again this next weekend. So if there's a huge update like there is, as they announced on November 14th, you will probably be seeing a video coming from me on the Monday or Tuesday the week after. You were warned. You were warned in advance that I am going to be late on purpose. So, development update live stream. Our next development update live stream will now air on November 14th, 2025 at 11 a.m. Pacific. We're still preparing a special announcement, and just like a fine Varen stew, it needs a little more time to cook before we serve it to you. Help us shape the Harbinger update on PTR. As we continue refining our Harbinger update, we'd love all Alpha 2 testers help putting the newest systems content and improvement through their paces. To support this, on November 10th, 2025 at 10 a.m. Pacific, we will be taking down the Alpha 2 Lotharian Shoal realms, returning after focus testing is complete. Bringing the private test realm, the PTR, online with daily updates focused on testing sessions. Now, this created a lot of hubbub among the community, and we will go back and we will dive into this because some of you guys have some really severe trust issues, and I'm not a psychologist. I'm not going to dive into why you have these trust issues, but we're just going to point it out because it was kind of funny. It was kind of funny from my perspective. But they are taking down, or they did as of yesterday, the Lotharian Shoal realms, and a lot of people in my Discord and what I saw in the main Discord, they asked, why are you doing this? What is going on with this? And the simple answer is a lot of people don't go to the PTR when the Alpha 2 realms are up. Like, when you think about it, one has savable things that may or may not be wiped within a week or two or a month or two, and the other one is getting wiped daily. And so you're going in and you're constantly testing and iterating, and this is just a way to get more testers into their big update. And so it makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense to me. In general, there is a noticeable dip in population right now. A lot of people have been wondering whether or not we're going to have a wipe, which makes sense. Are we going to wipe before this huge update? A lot of people have been clamoring for it. A lot of people have been clamoring for it due to economy reasons. A lot of people have been clamoring for it because they just love to start fresh. Some players just love to start a brand new character over and over and over again, because when a new world starts, everybody's on the same footing, everybody is starting there, and some players just crave that start, that fresh start. And so I understand all of it, but yeah, because of that, not a whole lot of people are playing right now. They're waiting to see what is going to happen. As an example, in my guild, just 2 weeks ago, we were going to have a guild meeting, and they pushed the update back. And so it's like, okay, well, until we know what's going on with the update, whether we're going to have new realms or not, there's no point in having a guild meeting until we know like what we're doing and where we're going. And then it got pushed back, and now it's got pushed back again. And so, yeah, we're just kind of in wait and see mode ourselves as well. So for the remaining players that are online, I think it makes a lot of sense to have the best updated DLC possible for when the Harbinger update comes online. So that's my opinion. I think it makes a lot of sense. I think a lot of people are waiting anyways. And so if you want to get in there and get a new sneak peek and get a head start, I think it makes a lot of sense in general. So PTR visual NDA reminder, please note that the private test realm is still under a visual NDA. You are welcome to discuss your experiences with those outside of the testing experience, but visual content may not be captured or shared at this time. That means no streaming, screenshots, recordings, or other visual posts from the test environment outside of the dedicated NDA Discords and forum sections. We all know this, but we got to do the reminder anyways. What will we be testing? Get ready to jump into the wide range of updates and features, including Harbinger event system. Okay, the Summoner, which is obviously the new archetype that we will be testing. The Renkai, for those of you guys who don't know, Renkai is a new racial choice. Sport fishing, which is came out in one of the latest live stream where you get to go out and the PvP waters and potentially engage in sport fishing. Non-stop, always on PvP, so risk versus reward should be quite higher. I am excited to see how this works out. Mules and mounts. Mules and mounts are interesting. I kind of discussed this in my last video. Currently right now, the formula between pack running and caravan running is way off. And when they introduce mules, mules allow you to carry more stuff than what you could carry like on your person, but less than caravans. But it also engages in the flagging system. And so the way the current flagging system exists, it allows you to carry more stuff, which is going to be interesting to see how that also impacts caravans. Because as it stands right now, caravans are just really not worth running from a risk versus reward perspective. And mules are going to add another part to that equation to where it will need balancing. So excited to see how all that gets incorporated. Archetype updates and balance passes. Obviously, some archetypes are a lot weaker than others. Some archetypes are very, very powerful. So I'm excited to see what some of those changes are. Artisanship improvements. As a cook, the guy that is engaging in the cooking artisanship, I can't tell you how great it's going to be to not have to craft one mulch at a time. It is going to be fantastic. So I'm sure all of you guys have your own issues with artisanship. Obviously it's buggy, some of it's laggy, some of it's not working very well. The idea of hunting where you're petting animals is kind of funny to me. Obviously that's just a placeholder, but I'm excited to see the improvements there. If you guys have your own favorite, like, let me know in the comment section. I'd like to see them because I don't engage in all the artisanship, so I don't know all the different bugaboos of everything. Settlement improvements, that'll be huge. Lawless events, okay. Crates, obviously I just talked about it. The crate system, I think, is a little out of whack relative to the caravan system, so I think that'd be huge. Wars and sieges. As you guys know right now, I had an interview, me and Nice Gaming had an interview with Steven Sharif last year, and we were talking about node wars and node sieges, and Steven came out and said that they're, like, right now they're working on 500 v 500 node wars or node sieges, but they want to eventually go to 1000 v 1000. But right now, the back-end server stuff does not allow that to happen at all. Like, we're at 100 v 100, and every single node siege that I have seen has just been a laggy, buggy mess. I respect all the people that are going in there and testing all that stuff out. I just can't do it myself. I have too much PTSD from dealing with ESO performance myself. Shitty stuff like that just bugs me to no end. And although this is an alpha, like they're just working on back end stuff, I just can't do it yet. I'm waiting for it to be a little bit better than what it is that I've seen so far. But yeah, this is hopefully a step in the right direction. World bosses, we only have the 2 right now, and the one's been taken down this entire phase. I posted, for those of you guys that saw my video last week, if you saw me fighting Firebrand, that was from phase 2. Obviously Firebrand really hasn't been up in phase 3. So yeah, dynamic gridding, this is the big one. This is the one that I think they've been working on for a while. And we're going to put on a tinfoil hat. I'm going to explain my point of view. But if you guys want a deeper dive on this specific video, I'm going to provide an overview here. Just let me know. But this time last year, they had a live stream and they were asking about dynamic gridding. And Steven said, we're working on dynamic gridding. It should be out in December, December of 2024. They were working on it all last spring. They were working on it through the summer. Obviously, we had the delay from phase 2 to phase 3 because they were still working on dynamic gridding. They brought phase 3 up, and the biggest changes we got for phase 3 so far have been big economy changes, obviously, like huge, massive economy changes. But when you look at caravan stuff, when you look at node wars and node sieges, when you look at all these other things, it's kind of been lacking so far. And if you're like me and you watch every single live stream, when people ask about, like, hey, when are you going to balance, cleric? When are you going to balance mage? Mage is hitting way too hard. Multiple times in multiple different live streams, Steven has made the comment like, hey, when we're catering more to players' experiences in the game, that will be phase 3. Phase 3 will be the time where we'll be forward facing to more of the player experience, and we'll be working on balanced stuff. We'll be working on focusing on like what the player experience is, but we're not there yet. We're working on a lot of back end stuff. And so when you see them talk about, November, December of last year, that dynamic gridding is up and it's still not up. It's still not fully performing when 100 v 100 node wars and node sieges have not been happening. It's pretty clear that they're working on the back end stuff. They're working on the base layer of what the servers are to get everything working properly before they do the good stuff. The analogy I would use, which once again, very well may be wrong, but it's like you're building a house. Before you can put in, your fancy gold toilets and your cool bathtubs and everything, you need to make sure that the foundation is set. And right now they're working on the foundation of the server performance before we get the really cool stuff. And so it's been this way for a little while. Obviously, like, some people have been worried about this, but it's just, if you're like me and you don't think that this game is going to come out in the next 2 to 3 years and you think it's going to be a while, obviously there will be things that will be hanging up, progression. You don't know what it's going to be. You don't know what's going to happen. You just know that when you're working on a project, sometimes shit takes a little bit of time. And that's where we've been. Like that, if you look at the last couple of months, that we've just kind of been in an in-between stage until they get this stuff online. Is it concerning? Obviously server performance is concerning because, bad server performance leads to bad games, and so this is something that they need to get right. And so before we get cool dynamic quests, before we get pretty grass, before we get all the cool things that are very important for a gaming experience, the servers need to fucking work. And right now, if you've been playing this phase, they're not working very well. And so I think all that leads to the fact that this is what they've been working on the most. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I think this is where they've been. Bug fixes including quests, economy, artisanship, UI, and combat improvements, exploit and dupe hunting days with rewards for testers who are first to provide reproducible reports, and more surprises along the way. Thank you, testers. We cannot thank you enough for your continued passion, feedback, and commitment to helping us build Vera. Alpha 2 continues to evolve because of your dedication, and together we're going to wrap this year up with something special. Let's make this update one to remember. So all this makes a lot of sense. Obviously, I'm very excited for this next update. I'm excited to see what they incorporate. I am hoping that all the back-end stuff is online and we get to have all this really cool stuff. And it's in a obviously we know there's going to be bugs and there's going to be issues, but it'd be fun to get our hands on some new things to test and some new things to work out. So this is the message that came out November 6th. And obviously we have to go and we have to look at the posts from at that time. So what I did is I went back and I looked at all the different posts from Margaret because I just had to see, because somebody said that, the official Discord was just blowing up. And so we go and look at it. We're not going to look at every single response. This is what was announced. They will stay down while we are doing focus testing on the PTR next week. So obviously somebody talking about Lotharia and Shoal. Next thing, she posts the update. Next thing, she forwards the update. We'll see how our testing goes, and then we'll provide a date for you. We want to make sure things are solid for folks. It's been a lot of things being worked on and fixed. Focus testing will vary, but you can expect around 4 hours during core Intrepid work hours. Then the rest will be free testing, but you are so welcome to continue testing the focus for that day. We'll greatly appreciate all the feedback and help. You'll be having a lot of engagement from our QA and CM team during this upcoming week, which is great. Everyone who has Alpha 2 access should have PTR access. Not sure about 24 hours, but PTR will be up as much as they can keep it up. It will be down for updates each day for focus testing, content, and systems. Shoal and Lotharia will come back up after the PTR focus testing is complete. I was pretty clear. We have not announced a wipe. You were the one making it awkward, homie. I was pretty clear. We did not announce a wipe. There is no planned wipe. Shoal and Lotharia are coming down and will not be back up until our focus testing is completed. We'll see how testing goes, as that will change when they come back up. I was pretty clear. Please don't spam. No fresh realm has been announced either. The only thing stated is that we are taking Shoal and Lotharia down to focus testing on PTR so we can refine the Harbinger update. Once it's ready, it'll be coming to Shoal and Lotharia for folks to test. I'm not gonna lie, guys. Like I would not have the patience to be able to do this. Like at some point, like your words are your words. It's an option, but it seems a little intense. GIFs and pictures are fun, but I think that's going too far. We are always taking feedback, some folks thought. Not a community manager. It is in the news post. Bring the private test online with updates, focus testing sessions. Yeah. So this is what was happening. That's not all of them. There's a few more. But if we go back to page 1 here, and then we scroll down, make sure we have all of them. We've stated it a few times. For the Alpha 2 realms, we do not plan to do wipes unless it's needed. For PTR, yes, there will be wipes 100%. For sure, PTR is different than the live environment, but that's why we're having folks come help us over on the PTR, so we can ensure the live environment is in a better place than the last time. Hope that makes sense. We want this update to be something folks really enjoy, especially with November and December holidays coming up. But yeah, anyways, goes to remove fresh because y'all are crazy. So basically, as you can read from this, a lot of people are like, hey, are we wiping Shoal? Are we wiping Lotharia? And it was reiterated at least 5 times by Margaret here that they are not planning on doing it right now. It's just really, really funny to see this, because it's like, okay, we're not planning on doing a wipe. So then people go, okay, well, if you're not doing a wipe, are you doing a fresh start? Because fresh start is basically the same as a wipe, but it's another way to word it. A lot of people obviously have been severely impacted by other development communities in the past, and so this entire thing was killing me. I thought it was highly amusing personally, but as it stands right now, before the updated live stream, they are going to keep Shoal and Lotharia up. Now, should they? And here's the points of view and the argument that I have heard the last couple months. Since phase 3 came up, there have been a couple of gathering issues that have happened. And by a couple, I mean 4 to 5 that I know of. I'm not going to name them all right here. A lot of them, all of them that I know of have been reported. Some of them have been fixed. Some of them have not. But long story short, there has been multiple different ways to detect if a resource is not common or if it is uncommon or higher. And what that means is instead of chopping down thousands of trees for an RNG chance at uncommon or rare or epic, heroic, legendary, whatever, you can minimize that and you can remove all of the common trees from your field of view. And so it makes your farming substantially easier to go through. And so you can just run by common trees and you can only pick the uncommon and higher, meaning that you're going to have a higher skew of legendary trees than somebody that didn't know these different bugs. And so a lot of people have been clamoring for this because some people got an unfair advantage for weeks or months. And obviously some of it is still online that I know of. As of yesterday, Monday, some of it was still online, some of it was still able to be done, and I don't know if it's going to be fixed when this stuff is happening. So the big argument is, hey, we should start fresh, the economy's out of whack. Because of this, like a bunch of things are happening, a bunch of people have an unfair advantage, we should wipe for this reason. Other people, obviously, are going to look at it and they're going to go, hey, I'm just assuming that there is a wipe happening. And so I'm going to take a break for the next 3 weeks and I'm going to wait for the wipe to happen and I'm going to start a new phase. And so some people have been incentivized through their own actions to want to have a wipe to happen because they've been taking a break waiting for the new update to happen because they just assumed a wipe was happening. And so there are multiple different people, justifiable reasons for why a wipe should happen. I am personally of the opinion that I don't think a wipe should happen right now until they get those things fixed. And so if you've made it this far, let me explain my point of view. If the issue is that some people that know these bugs, that they know these issues, if they know of these, and they still exist on the servers when the servers go live again, we are just going to be back where we were again anyways. And we are just going to be right back to where we were. And so when you look at it, sure, some people do have a built-in inherent advantage, especially the people that started off early and started gathering early. Some people have a lot of resources that they otherwise would not have been able to get. And so I totally understand, but I don't see a point in wiping the entire server until those things are fixed because they're just going to be back to where they were to begin with. For the other people that assumed a wipe was going to happen and have not been playing for 3 weeks and want a wipe to start over again anyways, I mean, tough titties. Like you made a choice. The choice didn't end up working out well. Like, that's how I view those two different perspectives. And so, in general, I'm not against a wipe, but I don't think it makes sense from an economy perspective to go through one until those things are fixed. And so I have reported these. I have provided input for them. I have not seen the fix yet. And so until that happens, I just don't see a point in that happening. And so it looks so far that that's what they're doing. It looks like they are not going to be wiping Shoal and Lotharia. If they do wipe on Friday, obviously this is not a good look. Margaret stating and iterating, and no offense to anybody, but things are subject to change, right? Like sometimes you get new information, sometimes you get new updates. Obviously, there's a lot to happen from the new update to now. And so maybe there's something that comes up where it's like, yeah, we should wipe and we should do a restart. But as it stands right now, they have iterated and stated multiple times that we will not be having a wipe and we will not be doing a fresh start server. Now, with that being said, I would lean more, and this is just a theory, of course, because we're 19 minutes into this, I would lean more into the thought that we would be having a merger over having a fresh start or a wipe. And they haven't announced that yet either. I'm just stating, if the populations of the two servers get low enough, I wouldn't be shocked if they merge the two servers into one, because as you guys know, at the start of phase 3, they were only going to do one server to begin with. That's not something they're focused on, and it makes sense. If you're going to do a summoner and you're going to introduce new archetypes, and then you're going to introduce class balance changes where you're going to introduce these archetypes to where they can be combined with other archetypes to create classes, that happens at a higher level. And so all that testing needs to happen as well. And so it makes just as much sense to keep this going. So yeah, it's a pretty substantial update. I will be getting on the PTR to test on this next week. I'll be providing my feedback as well on some of these changes when I can get to them. But yeah, I will get back to you guys next week after the live stream on Friday, and we will talk about all the stuff then. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And it would be a pretty bad look, I think, if they announced a fresh start or a wipe after Margaret had to iterate so many times that that's not what they're doing. But it is what it is. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I will end this video. Thank you for watching, guys. Have a nice day.